Hey Reefers, welcome back. Okay, so today we're just going to take a recap of the system that we disinfected. We decided not to set up both systems with the quarantine in the middle like I said we were going to. I've decided to leave this one alone until the quarantine period there is finished. We have lost a few more fish. Unfortunately, I think whatever's left is going to make it, but it's not a lot. We literally, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we lost about 135 fish in total for the whole velvet outbreak. This system behind me has been bleached, has been left dry for just on 9 days, including all the filter media. Like I said, with this aquarium here, we went for the filter media, which is the K2 pellets. So it's easy to reset that, just bleach the media, leave it out in the sun to dry, and it's good to go, good to start up again. Okay, so basically I'm going to give you a run through of what we've done. Like I said, you saw the video where we disinfected it, we bleached the system. Once we had finished bleaching it, we dried it out, left it dry. Our plan was to leave it dry for 72 hours, but our Aquaforest stock took a little bit longer than anticipated and ended up taking about 9 days to get here, so it stayed dry for 9 days. Filled up the system with RO water, brought the salinity up to 1020 is what we're going to run it. We are expecting a fish shipment to land this week. If it does, we will be doing an unboxing of that. It'll be a short one because it's only one box. And that'll be the first fish going into the system. So to give you an idea what we do, like for example, in a fish system where we're keeping fish only for resale, we've got the salinity up to 1020. Reason we keep it there is most of our fish land between 1018 to 1020, and it just makes the transition into the systems here less stressful. And then we do slowly pick up these systems to 1023, and of course every time a shipment comes in, we tend to drop it to 1020 and then bring it back up to 1023 as the fish are settled in, with each shipment. So when we set this up, we filled it up, got it to its 1020 range, and then we start dosing BioS by Aquaforest. Now BioS is a nitrifying bacteria which helps get rid of ammonia and suggested with their dosage is 1 drop per 100 liters for 14 days on your aquarium. Okay, so due to the fact that this system has only been running for 7 days, there are a few things that we do differently to normal. Like I say, we are dosing the BioS, and we'll continue dosing that until the course is up. And what we normally do with the BioS on a continuous basis, where every time we get fish, we'll do as recommended. Every time we do a water change, we do 1 drop per 100 mils. And every time before we get a fish shipment in, we start dosing this 3 to 4 days before the shipment lands, just to build up the nitrifying bacteria before we overload the system again with fish. And then we'll continue for another 3 to 4 days after the fish have landed. And that tends to help us keep our ammonia under control. And it's been working for us for the last 2 years since we've been using it. And the BioS is a very good product. So also we use the Zeo Mix by Aquaforest. And what we normally do is we normally dose this into the aquarium as recommended, which is 100 mils to 100 liters of water. And this neutralizes the ammonia before it becomes an issue in the aquarium. So it won't even turn it into nitrite. It'll absorb it right out of the water. Because the system is still brand new, it's only been running for 4 days now, and by the time the fish do come in, if they do come in as expected, the system will be running for a total of 7 days. We'll be doing a double dose of the Zeo Mix, and as well we'll be monitoring the ammonia, just keeping an eye on it and making sure it doesn't come up into dangerous levels. We do have ammonia binders as well that we add to the aquarium if necessary, but just overall we do, like I say, these systems are always overstocked, and we just monitor it. It's different to a display tank. We run them differently. Display tank, we add fish in slowly. We build up our biological system as the aquarium grows and matures. When we're importing fish and we're holding fish for sale, and we start the quarantine processes off, it's a total different ball game according to how you'd keep a reef aquarium. So bear in mind, we do monitor everything and we do keep everything under control as best as we can. And on the good note is the velvet is under control. I haven't lost a fish in the quarantine for the last week. And like I said, I have lost a few more fish, but what seems to be left there seems to be doing well. I've made a little pact on the guys that have survived. I'll be keeping them and adding them to our display tank. So we'll have 3 new inmates there soon. So just going forward, when we stock these tanks, it is different to a normal reef aquarium. It's not quite the same as when you're setting up a reef display tank where you're setting up a biological system and you want that system to work in harmony with the fish and the corals you have in that system. Because with a holding system like these here behind me, our fish levels are constantly changing. You know, at the end of a shipment, we'll have maybe, if it was a really good shipment and fish just flew out the door, we might have 20 fish left in the system, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. And then on the next shipment we get anywhere between 100 to 180 fish coming in. And now we're loading these systems up again, and the bioload goes from next to nothing to overloaded. So we got to always be on the ball with these systems. You know, an ammonia can be lethal. It can be worse. Well, not can be. It is worse than velvet if your ammonia goes out of whack. So we got to keep an eye on that continuously. And like I said, I've never had an issue with ammonia other than seeing it rise and then adding a blocker or a binder, and then, you know, getting it before it causes any issues. But like I said, we're going to take a bit of precaution on this system. We're not going to be doing a full shipment. We're going to do 1 box. I think it's a total of 50 fish. That's 50 fish minus 10 shrimp. So 40 fish. The shrimp go into our invert system. You've seen our invert system. And if those land, like I said, you'll see the unboxing. We'll probably, if they do land this week, we'll be landing on Thursday night. It is Tuesday morning at the moment. Yeah, and you'll see that video. If not, you'll see a different video. Yeah, guys, so just keep an eye out for this new shipment that lands. It will be a Philippine shipment if everything goes to plan. If that doesn't go to plan, then our next scheduled shipment will be in about 2 weeks' time, and that is from the USA. Some nice fish from there, but let's hope that Philippines does land. I'm looking forward to some Philippines fish. Haven't had them for a while. And yeah, so just on a side note, the velvet is under control, thank goodness. It was really devastating to see all those little lives, you know, lost. Like I've said 100 times before, it's a part of this hobby that I do not enjoy, but unfortunately is a reality in this hobby. It happens all the time, everywhere. And also how you deal with it in the outcome of a disaster like that on a system. I mean, it could happen to your display tank where it crashes and you lose everything. And 9 times out of 10, it just makes you want to pack it up and ditch the hobby. But if you ever feel like that, make sure 100% that you want out, because you would end up selling all your equipment, getting out of the hobby, and then 6 months down the line you feel this emptiness inside you and you want to set up again, and then you look at the costs of everything and what you sold it for. It's just not worth it. Rather, before making that decision, any haste decision, make sure it's the right one if you're going to walk away from this hobby. I've had a few crashes in my life as a hobbyist. I think one was devastating where I lost a lot of livestock, a lot of coral, working away, and you know, I should have had someone looking after the tank, but I didn't, and I had a crash and I lost a lot of livestock. And when I got back and saw what the tank looked like, I was ready to throw the towel in, and I said to myself, hold on, let's just leave it as it is. You know, the fish are still okay. I lost all my SPS, all my LPS, and my softies were still thriving So I thought to myself, let's leave it and see what happens. And then a few months later, started getting all the levels back to normal. Everything started looking very happy, and I started up again. And actually, this tank here is the tank I'm talking about. This tank now is coming on 8 years, almost 9 years old, and it went through a crash in 2015. And I almost just threw in the towel, but decided, no, let's stick it out. Let's see what comes from it. And yeah, it's still going today, and I'm happy with it. Yeah, so like I say, going through a crash system is never a great experience. It's always terrible. Yes, you might learn some lessons from it going forward. But like I said earlier, make sure if you are going to throw in the towel, it is for good, because coming back into the hobby after, you'll never get what you pay for everything when you sell it, and then when you want to start up again, you're in for the same all over again, if not more, with the way the economy is going at the moment, with prices of everything, especially corals and livestock, with all the restrictions on collecting. It just pushes the prices up. The demand doesn't change, but the restrictions on collecting is affecting the prices, unfortunately. So just bear in mind, if you are going to give up, make sure it is the right choice. I've been in this hobby now for coming on 38 years now. I love it to bits. I have walked away from it twice. I think my longest time away from it was 2 years. And that whole 2 years, the only reason I didn't set up a tank because I was traveling at the time. And that whole 2 years I was longing for that, to have a system. But it just wasn't worthwhile with my travels, so I just didn't fit in. But as soon as I came home, the first thing I did was I set up a new aquarium. And I haven't stopped since, and I think that was 2006. Yes, it was 2006. And I haven't stopped since. See you in our next video, and happy reefing.